I don't know, Christy. I think you honestly have people confused with yourself and your hubby. Hey guys, this is Jules with True Crime Reactions. Disclaimer. Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. So this morning I posted this video. And in this video, we found out that Howard Bloom was approached by the Goncalves family attorney, Shannon Gray, and asked if they could be involved in his movie project. Now, for those of you who don't recall, I am going to try to recall as much as I possibly can. But from what I can remember from all of the interviews I have watched that he has been on over the past few weeks, this is something that Ron Howard, the Ron Howard, is apparently, according to Bloom, interested in making a movie for whatever his book is about. You know, he's claiming it's nonfiction, but we know better. So just like how his book came out before trial, this movie is also going to be coming out before trial because its projection date is, I think, Christmas time. So when I heard this morning,
I don't think people realize that this is real.
It's not a movie.
This is not a movie. This is not a story.
They're literally trying to make some kind of name for themselves and money, and they've tried to pull us in. We've tried to stay out of all these type of activities because we feel like the story's not over.
I lost it. I absolutely lost it because I just heard Bloom say this.
I was approached by the Goncalves lawyer about a movie deal. I considered this involving them in my movie deal. I decided I didn't want to go that way.
Literally like 2 days ago. And now we have them as of 17 hours ago saying, oh, this isn't a movie, but you were just literally asking to be a part of one. I'm not understanding the hypocrisy here. What was also really ironic is that the same Hunter Bertram guy who got the weird information about the timeline of Kaylee actually moving over to King Road, like all kinds of crazy, in an article that he did. For those of you that have been here for a while, you know that I reached out to this Hunter guy on Twitter and asked for him to clarify, because the way that he had it in an article was that Kaylee and Maddie moved to King Road together back in 2020. And that's not how it was sort of given to us, especially since we know that Christy had never once been to that house. Now, we know from what we've been told that around the same time that Bryan Kohberger moved over to the Washington area to start at WSU, that Kaylee had moved out of an apartment and moved into King Road. But she wasn't really there for very long because for a few months up until the murders happened, she'd been living back in Coeur d'Alene at her parents' house. So over the summer, she was maybe there for like 2 months, and then like 2 months at her parents' house. And then, of course, here comes the dreadful November night. So I don't know, a lot of going back and forth. But this guy never got back to me, never corrected it, never validated it, never verified it, just left all the wrong information out there with nothing. So just wanted to point that out.
It's just horrible. It's horrible. It's sickening. And some of that stuff it could just destroy my day. I have always just really based so much of my feelings and whatnot on court dates that we've had. And even the smallest movement in those court dates that we've had, for even the smallest emotions and whatnot, just really, I kind of lose it.
I don't doubt that. I have my opinions about Christy and Steve, but I don't doubt the pain they feel from losing their child. And I'm sure that they miss Maddie too. But whenever Samantha came forward and whenever we found out about the way that they didn't bother with Samantha, while also pretending that Maddie was like a second daughter when they completely ignored Steve's firstborn for her entire life, that made me think differently about these people. So while yes, I understand, Christy, I do. I understand it's probably horrible. But for you to then say that you want to be part of a movie, you can't sit there and complain about the same book that's going to be what the movie's based on that you wanted to be a part of that you got declined. This whole interview did not age very well at all.
It's just wrong to be shut out of your own child's life. It's not a good feeling.
And we'll learn in trial when everybody else does, which is really hard.
Yeah. I honestly can't even imagine what that day in court is going to be like. Because a lot of times these families, especially whenever there's a gag order, they don't hear the most intimate details of the end of their loved one's life until they're literally in that courtroom surrounded by a bunch of strangers. It's not very fair at all. The timing of these two things are just so ridiculous. Them claiming this stuff about how this isn't a movie, this isn't a story, And then just the day before, the movie maker, the storyteller, is telling us that they want to be involved in the movie being made about the story. It's all very hypocritical. It's ridiculous. And I really do wonder, like, do they stop and think at all? Like, what if Kaylee could see how they've behaved this entire time? How they've acted? Like, I was not against what Steve was doing in the very beginning. I was really on his side. You can even go back in my videos and see where I was showing Steve a lot of support. But then I found out about Samantha. And if you guys don't know about Samantha, I've got videos on that too. But whenever I saw through the facade is whenever I really started paying more attention to their intentions. And that's whenever I stopped being so supportive of the Goncalveses. And that's whenever I decided that from now on, I was only and forever going to care about the victims. That I was only going to support the families that truly deserved it. But I was going to call out what I saw was incorrect, because if I don't, who is going to? What they're doing here is absolutely gross. And they're doing it collectively, which says a lot too. Same thing with the Chapins being just okay with the university taking over and doing whatever they wanted to do. Both of these families that are acting extremely opposite of each other both seem to only care about an answer, not the answer. And again, they could really have the answer. Bryan could really be the one and only guy, and we might just all be dumb. We might just all be overthinking. That's very possible. I doubt it, but it's possible. They have to put more pieces together, and Steve is right. The gag order doesn't help anything. It makes everything a whole lot worse. But what do you guys think? Do you think there's a possibility that the defense could ask for the gag order to be lifted before trial? They've kind of alluded to the public should know, the public should know, the public should know a lot over the last few hearings. So I wonder if they're going to end up petitioning for that. The families, at least the Goncalveses, which they seem to speak for 75% of the victims' families, they want the gag order lifted. They want the transparency, the honesty, the truth. So what do you guys think? Do you think it's possible? You think maybe, just maybe, we'll hear Ann Taylor say, hey, we filed a motion to have the gag order lifted. Now let's have a hearing about it? That'd be wild, right? The judge made a really big deal about the gag order when it came to the change of venue survey and how much they've all worked really hard. They haven't worked very hard to keep things quiet. They've worked really hard to keep the chaos. Because if they really wanted to, they could have came out here a long time ago and at least died down all the dumb shit, right? They could have said what they said about him not stalking them and about the social media stuff being false a year and a half ago. They could have. They chose not to, and sometimes you really need to question about the things that they don't do and maybe think about why they don't do things. Because sometimes things that aren't done are a hell of a lot more important than things that are done. Give that a think, I guess. But that's it, you guys. I just wanted to show you guys this because I found it ridiculous. And you guys know how I am, so here it is. But that's it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you like the way that I present this information and give my opinion, please do not forget to leave a like on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already. See y'all.